सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। May we be protected together. May we be nourished together. May we work together with vigor. May our study make us illumined. May there be no hatred amongst us. Om, peace, peace, peace. Let us pray together. We offer our salutations to the all-loving being who endows all beings with consciousness. We meditate on the Lord, who is the origin of the universe. Lord, thou abidest in all. Thou art all. Thou art all forms. Thou art the origin and goal of all. Thou art the self of all. Thou art existence, knowledge and bliss. Salutations unto thee. May the world be peaceful. May the wicked become gentle. May all creatures think of mutual welfare. May their minds be occupied with what is spiritual and abiding. May our hearts be immersed in selfless love for the Lord. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Opening song, Shravani will lead us into I Come to the Garden Alone.
I come to the garden alone, while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses, and He walks with me, and He speaks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. He speaks, and the sound of His voice is so sweet, the birds hush their singing, and the melody that He gave to me within my heart is ringing, and He walks with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. I'll stay in the garden with Him, though the night around me be falling,
Let us close our eyes for a minute and feel our intrinsic oneness. Here is the peace, the bliss, and true love. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Let's open our eyes. So friends, today, on this very special day, the day of Easter, when Jesus is giving the message of resurrection of our true immortal nature by rising above the physical shape, physical form, and thus showing the all-connected nature of our true being. So that is how we see that love is very spontaneous to us. Love is automatic. It is expression of our actual true oneness. And yet we see that it is very much misunderstood, very much distorted, and therefore we have to see how it manifests in the life of Jesus, what is his message about love. And also we shall see through other great teachers that how this journey has to be conducted from hatred to love. If love is our intrinsic nature, our true nature, then where does the hatred come from? Well, the hate is this perpetuation of multiplicity that we see, that love is oneness. And when we know that whenever we feel a little love in our heart, we feel oneness. Togetherness is another form of oneness. So we feel being one. And then why do we feel hatred is because we see the multiplicity. I and the world. I and so many others. So when there is this perpetuation of multiplicity, we hold on to this multiplicity, I and the world, I and you. And thus that creates hatred. And also the love that is actually the substratum of it gets expressed in many distorted ways in and through this mesh of hatred. So, therefore, actually this multiplicity is, as some of the Upanishads describe, this multiplicity is death. It is, we see that we are dying every moment. With multiplicity, the life is really the marching towards death, which is certain. So, where is the life? Life is a transcendence of this multiplicity. Like Kathopanishad describes that those who see multiplicity here, they just go from death to death. So it is, the life is in resurrection into love. Love and oneness, they are same. So when we resurrect from this multiplicity, then alone we see that we are really able to love. It is an important message that we see in the life of all sages, and Jesus' life was a great example of this, that how when we connect to each other through God, then that becomes the loving oneness. Otherwise it is a very different thing that gets called as love, that passes for love. But we know actually that it is not that. It is this scriptural message we see Jesus announcing many times, that what is the central message of the scriptures, central message of Christianity. And since actually he was quoting from the Old Testament, it is the central message for the Jewish people, for all religions. You will see that this is love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength. And the other part of this is also love your neighbor as yourself. So this is the central idea in this message of Jesus, love. And this how this love has to come in our life, that also is described by Jesus, that by seeing that same self, this idea is not always very clearly expressed, that what is this that you see, it is the love thy neighbor as thyself. Thyself is an important aspect in it. Thyself. The self here and self there is not different. And so, knowing this, one has to love, then alone we can actually love too. You can see, otherwise, loving is the word that gets used, no doubt. But actually it is a very different thing. Because we like to give very nice names to things. So what actually is not love, we put that name to that name of love to it, because God alone is the object of love. And the nature of love, we see it is that he then mentions a very special thing, that I say unto you, love your enemies. And this is a special contribution that Jesus very emphatically makes. He says, we read it in Sermon on the Mount, that you have heard that love those who love you, love your friends and hate your enemies. But I tell unto you, love your enemies. And this is a mandate. This is not an optional, well, you may or you may not. No. For those who want to be Christians, for them this is a mandate. Jesus says, I tell unto you, to his followers, those who want to follow Jesus, for them this is a mandate, that love your enemies, which essentially means that you have no enemies. It is, if you call somebody enemy, that very thing means that you hate that fellow. That what it means is you will have no enemies, for you will be all. In Ishavasya Upanishad, you see this beautiful verse expressing this idea, that when someone sees the same self in all, how can that person hate anybody? It is not possible, because hate is always for other. That who is not myself, about that we have these ideas of likes and dislikes. That something we like, and then some others we don't like. And those whom we like today do not like them tomorrow. And vice versa. Sometimes they do what we like, what is pleasurable to us, at other times not. So therefore, children let it out very easily. The grown-ups, they do not say it in so many words. Children, if the mother does not give what they want, and then they throw tantrums, bring the roof down by crying and scream that I hate you, mommy. It is, why? Because that is really the otherness springs there, that I and you are separate. I love you means I like you, provided you give me what I want. That is the meaning of it. And then the love of the parents also therefore becomes like that. It is that other is hated. It is whenever you have the feeling of other, then that is hated. When you have one has the feeling of love, then it is kind of bound together, gui. Gui become a sense of togetherness, in a way oneness, and therefore there is a loving relation, that gui. Even though there is perception of multiplicity, that gets covered by this idea love. We are a family, for example, or we are a group together. Sometimes that love is also because of that particular group is together for some other reason. They might be going for gambling in the same place, or some such thing. So that might be the reason for their becoming together. But just by being together, it springs up some love for them, because that oneness gets reflected. And if there is when you see the other and still feel the love, that togetherness also depends on what? Bargaining, expectations, attachments, likes and dislike, fear and bondage. That is what then makes for, this feeling, idea of love. There is bargaining. Okay, I love you provided you do this to me. If not, Okay, no, then there is no love. It instantaneously can get converted into hatred. There are expectations like bargaining, it is expected. If I love you and if you love me, this is expected of you. And then through that develops attachments, which many times are passed for love. That I am attached to you, I cannot get separated from you because of this slavery. I am somehow tied, that I would like to get separated, but I cannot. I feel psychologically this bondage gets the name of loving relationship. It is not really always love. Usually it is not. It is this attachment that because of association now there is the glue that is sticking together, and then even after struggle you are not able to separate. And then if since it is very painful to get separated, you call it okay, we love each other. It is really that attachment that passes for love, and so it is very different really. The love is not same as attachment. In fact, the opposite of it. It is many times this question gets asked that, well, this in attachment there is love, and that is why we get attached. If we are not attached, then how can there be love? Then one answer that I sometimes give is that look at those people who really loved, like Buddha or Jesus or Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother. They loved, but did they have any attachment for anything? They could love because they had no attachment. It is, in fact, if we are attached, then there is the bargaining, there is the fear of separation, and that makes us, somehow hold on to each other, hold together because of this fear of separation. And this is a bondage, and we understand it. But just give a name of love to somehow mollify the things, to make them feel more soothing, that's all. But really it is, love is not so easy. It is these expectations, attachments, likes and dislikes, these are passed for love. Something is not being seen. So, when you see Jesus loved, what was there? No bargaining. That I love you only if you do like this. No. He told that, well, one of you during that Last Supper, what a clear message it was, that one of you is going to betray me. But that doesn't prevent Jesus from loving Judas. Yeah, that you are going to betray. But yeah, doesn't matter. Hey, you are going to deny me. Peter, he didn't say Peter, but Peter thought that he is saying about me. And then when he said, are you talking about me? Jesus said, well, you said it. So it is, you said it. So it is, and still Jesus loves them. Can we, think of that fellow, we were so close to each other, but when the time came, he could not even say that I know him. Can we love that person? Somebody just was given a little bribe and then just spoke against us, did something bad to me. Can we love such person? This is the teaching that we have to take, that well, love does not know bargaining. It does not depend on expectations. And that is the message of Jesus. There is no attachment. There is no like or dislike. There is no fear, no bondage that my disciples will otherwise go with somebody else. No, no such fear. There is, this is actually therefore the nature of love that Jesus has shown. And we see that on crucifix, he blessed his enemies. Enemies means those who were crucifying him. He did not curse them, but blessed them too. So this is the nature of true love that he has described. And you see that in all the great teachers. And what is not really love? We say love is a very commonly used word. I love ice cream means what? I gobble it, isn't it? So that is the meaning of love there. So it is not carnal attraction, nor sense enjoyment. It is not fulfilling the demands, not appeasing anybody, not trying to enslave someone. That it is okay if we give loving gift, send a card and send some gift, then what happens? Maybe that I will be able to put a bondage around that person through that. It is, but with Jesus, no such things. It is, the love does not have any of such things. The important thing is there, and that is the feeling of oneness, that the same self in everyone. And that is why there is the true love that gets exhibited there, that the self is same. So love, he told his disciples, love each other as I loved you. That was during the Last Supper, he told, you love each other as I have loved you. This is how the very important message of Jesus comes forth. And you see this in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, in the life of Holy Mother, how they loved. Even if somebody did harm to them, there was no retaliatory harm. There was no curse on their lips. It is the same love was flowing because of that innate oneness that is being experienced. And if not, we know that the things become very different in our lives. I am going to, to illustrate this, I am going to read a poem of Khalil Gibran. It is written in prose, but it is a poem, a poetry. So it is his famous work titled The Prophet. This book is a very well-known book, and especially, although initially when it was published, sometimes in 1929 or 30, it didn't become that popular. But later on, it became a very popular book. And there are, the background is that the Prophet, staying in a place amongst people is ready to leave. He is ready to leave. He loved the people there on that island, but his ship was coming, and he knew that it is time for him to go back. Now, as he was about to go back, many pleaded to him, "Please don't go. Please don't go. Stay with us. We love you. Without you, we will find our lives very difficult. Please do not go." Then one of them said that, "Well, you have to go, we understand. But before we go, please give us some teachings. Give us some wisdom. All that it is that answer some of our questions." And then they started asking him before he left, "Please tell us this, please tell us that." And one of them is, Almitra spoke again and said, and she asked him that, "Well, speak to us of love." And I will read the whole thing, and it is somewhat, not just somewhat, very much opposite of what we understand by love. We saw what we understand by love, that okay, cajoling somebody, and then praising somebody, and all that, we think that they are expressions of love. But here we see it is a very different idea of love that that comes from the words of this prophet. And he raised his head and looked upon the people, and there fell a stillness upon them, and with a great voice he said, "When love beckons to you, follow him, though his ways are hard and steep. And when his wings enfold you, yield to him. Though the sword hidden among his pinions may wound you. And when he speaks to you, believe in him, though his voice may shatter your dreams as the north wind lays waste the garden. For even as love crowns you, so shall he crucify you. Even as he is for your growth, so he is for your pruning. Even as he ascends to your height and caresses your tenderest branches that quiver in the sun, so shall he descend to your roots and shake them in their clinging to earth. Like sheaves of corn, he gathers you unto himself. He threshes you to make you naked. He sifts you to free you from your husks. He grinds you to whiteness. He kneads you until you are blent. And then he assigns you to his sacred fire, that you may become sacred bread for God's sacred feast. All these things shall love do unto you, that you may know the secrets of your heart, and in that knowledge become a fragment of life's heart. But if in your fear you would seek only love's peace and love's pleasure, then it is better for you that you cover your nakedness and pass out of love's threshing floor into the seasonless world, where you shall laugh, but not all of your laughter, and weep, but not all of your tears. Love gives not but itself, and takes not but from itself. Love possesses not, nor would it be possessed, for love is sufficient unto love. The beautiful text on devotion, Sanskrit text, and Narada Bhakti Sutra, the aphorisms of Narada on devotion. It therefore says, Swayam Phalarupata iti Brahma Kumara. Narad gives there, Narad is a great teacher of devotion, and says about devotion, which means love. He defines devotion as the utmost love towards the true self. So, and then he says that what is it for? There is no something that is to be acquired by it. Through love you do not acquire anything else. Love is sufficient to itself. It is not that by love you will do something, but by love is its own fruition. When you love, you should not say, God is in my heart, but rather, I am in the heart of God. And think not you can direct the course of love, for love, if it finds you worthy, directs your course. Love has no other desire but to fulfill itself. But if you love and must needs have desires, let these be your desires. To melt and be like a running brook that sings its melody to the night. To know the pain of too much tenderness. To be wounded by your own understanding of love, and to bleed willingly and joyfully. To wake at dawn with a winged heart and give thanks for another day of loving. To rest at the noon hour and meditate love's ecstasy. To return home at eventide with gratitude, and then to sleep with a prayer for the beloved in your heart and a song of praise upon your lips. So this is how he describes love. It is not sharing pleasantries. It is the understanding of that crucifixion of the flesh, that all our carnal desires, that is what he mentions, becoming naked. All this shaft, that all shaft has to be taken out. When all that chaff is taken out, then you become yourself. And then there is no distinction between you and anybody else. It is only the cover that is making distinction between this and this, I and you. When this cover is taken out in true love, then that is what is the meaning of becoming naked. You become just what you are, and then you become everything. You become the totality. The distinction between you and somebody else vanishes. That is what love does to us. So therefore, when one goes in that direction, the true love like that manifests. And this is what we see, that the journey, that this is the journey from hatred to love. Hatred is I and you. It is multiplicity. Although sometimes there is liking, at other times there is not liking. So it is a play of love and hate. In the world we see that the play of love and hate. What is this play of love and hate? It is very much like when there are clouds. Today we witness that. The sunlight coming through the clouds which were scattered sometimes they would come and become thick. So, but still we were seeing things because the light was there. That light was percolating through the clouds. The clouds block the light, and thus, or let it come out only partially. So that is how the love is the intrinsic thing. It is the totality of existence in love. But then when that mistaken understanding of multiplicity is there, that clouds it. That clouds it. And thus we love and hate. Whenever something nice, something blissful, joyous comes to us, we have the feeling of love. Whenever something that we do not want comes to us, immediately the hatred comes. It happens to us. It is when I was talking to somebody just yesterday, that person was very much hurt by many these unfortunate events in life, and was crying and was very angry and upset and all that. And when I tried to tell her, well, calm down, please do not harbor any hurtful feelings towards anybody. Don't feel hatred towards anybody. Maybe somebody you think has wronged you. Okay, might be. But why should you add more hurt to you by having hurtful feelings? When we harbor hurtful feelings towards anybody, then we get hurt by that more than that person. And therefore, when I said, that person said, well, talking is very easy. Yes, and I agreed fully that talking is very easy. Practicing is difficult, but it is possible, and that is the only way. Is there any other way? Is there any other way? Just on Friday, I was looking at when somebody was doing some work outside, so I was just looking at that work, and then one man was walking by, and he said to me, it will take millions of years. And I didn't know what was he referring to me. What was he referring to? He showed that on the sign of today's this lecture topic on the notice board. On the signboard there is that lecture topic written, Journey from Hatred to Love. And he pointed to that. I am talking about that. It will take millions of years. And he, in a few words, narrated how he has been subjected to so much of harassment and torture, and how between the communities there is hatred. He said, I came from Africa, and thus here people hate me, being from Africa. In Africa people hate me because I went to America. And so, how it is so difficult. The journey from hatred to love, it will take millions of years. Yes, friends, maybe that is an underestimation, who knows. But it is, I suggested, why not let us begin wherever we are. It is difficult, but let us begin. As we begin, the things start going forward. Even if we make an inch of progress, that is great. that man didn't have an answer to it. But what is the point? It will take a lot of time, and then both parties should do it, is it not? It is. I said, if you do it, you do it. Why you think about the others must do it? Let others, do you have any control over them? Whatever let us do, whatever we can do, and thus we will inch towards that love. And after all, at least we are not going back by making effort. So, if it takes 100 years, 100,000 years, million years, let us start the journey. And once you start the journey, gradually it will move to completion. So this is what we have to tell ourselves, that it looks like when we are really filled with anger, when we are filled with hateful thoughts about others, then, let us begin the journey towards love. And as we begin that journey towards love, if it is taking, say, 1 million years, at least 1 second of that 1 million years will be reduced. So, it is surely, let us make efforts as shown by Jesus and other great personalities that feel God. It is important to go in the right way for this journey. If I try to love A, B, C, D, E, it will not happen. That is the wrong way. Let me start loving this person and that person and that person, and let me begin from those whom I generally like. Not always, but in more or less generally I like them. Let me begin with them, and then from there proceed, and maybe ultimately I will be able to love my enemies one by one. Let me try. That is not the right way. The right way is to find the source of love. That is, we saw this sameness of the self or God, and that is the source of love. And so if we love God, then we will see that starts manifesting as love for everybody else too. If we say that, okay, this child looks nice, so let me love, this person looks so good, let me love, and then that love will be limited to likes and dislikes. It will not be love, but only the name will be given love. Actually, the things would be very different, as I mentioned. We saw in earlier slides that it will be the bargaining, attachments, and so forth. So it will just shift between love one moment, hatred another moment. When you feel good, you love. When that person does not agree to what you are saying, then it immediately turns into hatred. So that is that will keep on happening if we try to love people separately. But if we love God, and through that if we love others, then that kind of loving relationship becomes very stable, very practical, and there is no hatred in that. That is the right way to do this journey. Love God. There has to be proper method, in journey, as we had been seeing in the last lecture also, that proper method is to be taken up. That where is this source of love? That is the oneness, that is the God or the self in all. Now, when we start loving that, then we will see that others also are loved and not hated. This is the proper way. It is very similar to what we do while gardening. We water the root. So when you water the root, all branches get watered, all leaves get watered. But if you try to put a drop of water on every leaf and every petal of flower, then nothing will get watered. And because we are not taking care of the source, so here too we have to remember to be able to go from hatred to love. Whenever there is perception of multiplicity, the hatred cannot be removed, friends. Cannot be removed. And therefore, somehow we have to see that oneness is seen. It can be seen in various different ways. Psychologically, every person being different, there will be multiple ways to do that. But the main idea is this. When we see this intrinsic oneness, and then through that we look at everything, then that hatred vanishes. We hate another person, but can we, do you ever, can you think that your left hand started hating your right hand? It doesn't happen. There is no jealousy, there is no hatred, because we see the oneness. There is no hatred between the mouth and the hands. That hands never are seen complaining, this mouth alone we work and this mouth alone gets to eat. No, we will not give any food to mouth anymore. What will happen? That idea never springs up because there is the oneness there. So all hatred vanishes. The journey happens in this way, that the more we start feeling the oneness, the hatred reduces and love manifests. That is the way the journey has to proceed, and it is very painful. It is not a very pleasant thing as we expect, as described by this wonderful poem, Prophet, that there will be grinding, that there will be, we will be just put into so many unexpected, torturous rounds that we may wonder, why did we come here to get love? Is it love? But yes, that is how the true manifestation of love is. This ego has to vanish, and thus we see the oneness. When the more the ego, the less the feeling of oneness, and therefore more hatred. And the lesser the ego, the more the feeling of oneness, and therefore more love, less hatred. So that is the way, the journey from hatred to love. Today let us remember on this auspicious day the great command of Jesus, this mandate of Jesus about loving God, and through that loving all our neighbors. Everybody, neighbor doesn't mean just staying next door. That also he described, that who is the neighbor. So it is, let us start practicing that, and we will surely get the blessings of Jesus in this work that we will undertake. Thank you very much. Do we have any questions? We will just meditate for half a minute, and then if you have a question you can ask. Yes, please. So, since there are no questions, I will request Vishwanath to begin his offertory while I read the programs for the next week. Next week, while the Tuesday class will go on as usual, there will be the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna class on Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. On Friday, we are in for a very special discourse by Pravrajika Gita Prana, and she will be speaking on practicing discernment or viveka. She will also be speaking on next Sunday, and her topic for the next Sunday is that spiritual practices for busy people. So most of us are busy, I guess. So it is for all of us. So and then there will be a spiritual retreat coming up in June. But you can start registering for it. Those signs have been put there. So the spiritual retreat on June 3rd will be given by a Swami coming from Toronto, Swami Kripamayananda, and he will speak again on the theme of loving God. So you are welcome to attend that day-long retreat. Let me conclude with the closing prayers, and then after that there will be as usual arati and soup supper in the basement. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Chinese faith, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahur Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.